Did you know that David Bowie once turned down $100 million for his entire music catalog, only to later create the world's first celebrity bond worth $55 million? Stick around until the end to discover the shocking truth about how the Starman really spent his fortune and the luxury empire he built that most fans never knew existed. Welcome back to AdeMedia Official, where we dive deep into the extraordinary lives of music's biggest legends. Today, we're exploring the fascinating luxury lifestyle of David Bowie, the man who didn't just change music but redefined what it meant to be a global superstar. From his humble beginnings in South London to his status as one of the wealthiest musicians of all time, Bowie's journey is filled with incredible investments, stunning properties, and a lifestyle that matched his otherworldly persona. The Rise of a Legend, Biography, and Career. David Robert Jones was born on January 8, 1947, in Brixton, South London, to a working-class family. His father, Haywood Stinnen Jones, worked as a promotions officer for children's charity, while his mother, Margaret Mary Burns, was a waitress. Growing up in post-war Britain, young David showed an early fascination with music and performance that would eventually transform him into one of the most influential artists of the 20th century. Bowie's journey to stardom wasn't immediate. Throughout the 1960s, he experimented with various musical styles and personas, performing with several bands including the Conrads, the King Bees, and the Manish Boys. His breakthrough came in 1969 with Space Oddity, a haunting ballad about Major Tom that captured the world's imagination during the Apollo 11 moon landing. The 1970s marked Bowie's golden era, when he created some of his most iconic alter egos. Ziggy Stardust, the flamboyant alien rock star, catapulted him to international fame with the album The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars in 1972. This wasn't just music, it was theater, fashion, and social commentary rolled into one spectacular package. Throughout his career, Bowie released 28 studio albums, selling over 140 million records worldwide. His ability to constantly reinvent himself, from the glam rock of Ziggy Stardust to the soul-influenced Young Americans, from the experimental Berlin trilogy to the commercial success of Let's Dance, made him a chameleon in the truest sense. Bowie's influence extended far beyond music. He was a pioneer in music videos, with clips like Ashes to Ashes and Blue Jean setting new standards for the medium. His acting career included memorable roles in films like The Man Who Fell to Earth, Labyrinth, and The Prestige, showcasing his versatility as a performer. The Final Curtain, Death and Legacy. On January 10, 2016, just 2 days after his 69th birthday and the release of his final album, Black Star, David Bowie passed away from liver cancer at his New York home. He had kept his 18-month battle with cancer private, working on music until the very end. Black Star was his farewell gift to the world, a haunting, experimental album that served as his final artistic statement. His death sent shockwaves through the music world and beyond. Tributes poured in from fellow musicians, celebrities, and world leaders. The impact of his passing was felt globally, with impromptu memorial gatherings in cities from New York to London to Berlin, all places that have been significant in his life and career. The Bowie fortune, net worth, and financial empire. At the time of his death, David Bowie's net worth was estimated at approximately $230 million, a figure that reflects not just his musical success, but his shrewd business acumen and innovative financial strategies. One of Bowie's most groundbreaking financial moves was the creation of Bowie Bonds in 1997. Working with investment banker David Pullman, Bowie securitized his music catalog, issuing $55 million worth of bonds backed by the future royalties from his pre-1990 albums. This was the first time a musician had used their intellectual property as collateral for a bond issue, earning Bowie the nickname, the most financially innovative rock star of all time. The Bowie bonds were purchased by Prudential Insurance Company and paid annual interest of 7.9%. This move allowed Bowie to receive immediate payment for future royalties, which he used to buy Backmaster recordings and invest in other ventures. The bonds were considered a safe investment initially, but the digital revolution and decline in album sales eventually made them more risky. Bowie was also prescient about the digital future of music. In 1998, he launched BowieNet, one of the first artist-branded internet service providers, offering fans exclusive content and early access to his music. He predicted that the internet would completely change the music industry, famously saying in a 2002 interview that music itself is going to become like running water or electricity. Love and family, marriage and children. Bowie's personal life was as fascinating as his public persona. His first marriage was to Mary Angela Barnett in 1970, a union that was as much about artistic collaboration as it was about love. Angela, known as Angie, was instrumental in creating Bowie's early glam rock image and was rumored to have inspired songs like The Prettiest Star. Their relationship was unconventional by any standards. Both were open about their bisexuality and had an open marriage. They had one son together, Duncan Jones, originally Zowie Bowie, born in 1971, who would later become a successful film director, helming movies like Moon and Source Code. The couple's relationship became increasingly strained, partly due to their mutual struggles with drug addiction during Bowie's cocaine-fueled Los Angeles period in the mid-1970s. They divorced in 1980, with Angie receiving a settlement reportedly worth $750,000 and agreeing not to write about their marriage for 10 years. In 1992, Bowie found lasting love with Somali-American supermodel Iman Mohammed Abdul Majid, simply known as Iman. Their meeting was orchestrated by a mutual friend, and Bowie later described it as love at first sight. They married in a private ceremony in Switzerland in April 1992, followed by a larger celebration in Florence, Italy. The couple's 24-year marriage was notably stable and loving, a stark contrast to the tumultuous rock star relationships often portrayed in the media. Iman brought stability to Bowie's life, and he often credited her with helping him overcome his addictions and find peace. In 2000, they welcomed daughter Alexandria Lexi Zura Jones, who became the center of Bowie's later years. Bowie was a devoted father who prioritized his family life, especially after Lexi's birth. He largely retired from touring to spend time at home, focusing on being present for his daughter's childhood in a way he hadn't been able to for Duncan during his early career. Palatial homes, houses and mansions. Bowie's real estate portfolio reflected both his immense wealth and his eclectic taste. His primary residence for the final decades of his life was a stunning duplex penthouse at 285 Lafayette Street in New York's fashionable Soho neighborhood. Purchased in 1999, this 5,090-square-foot apartment was valued at approximately $6.5 million at the time of his death. The Soho penthouse was a masterpiece of interior design, featuring soaring ceilings, exposed brick walls, and an impressive collection of contemporary art. The apartment included 4 bedrooms, a library, and a terrace overlooking the city. Bowie and Iman filled the space with carefully curated furniture and artwork, including pieces by Jean-Michel Basquiat, Damien Hirst, and Frank Auerbach. In addition to the New York penthouse, Bowie owned several other impressive properties. He had a home in the Swiss Alps, which served as a retreat where he could enjoy privacy and stunning mountain views. The couple also owned property in Mustique, the exclusive Caribbean island favored by celebrities and royalty. One of Bowie's most significant property investments was Britannia Bay House on the island of Mustique, which he purchased in the 1990s. This tropical paradise featured a private beach, infinity pool, and panoramic views of the Caribbean Sea. The property was often used for family vacations and as a creative retreat where Bowie could write and record music in complete privacy. Earlier in his career, Bowie had owned Clos de Mésanges, a chateau in Blonay, Switzerland, overlooking Lake Geneva. This property, purchased in the 1970s, served as a tax haven and creative sanctuary during some of his most productive years. The chateau featured recording facilities where Bowie worked on several albums. Wheels of Fire, luxury car collection. While Bowie was never as obsessive about cars as some rock stars, he did own several luxury vehicles that reflected his sophisticated taste and substantial wealth. His collection included both classic and contemporary automobiles, each chosen for their unique character and performance. One of Bowie's most notable vehicles was a custom Mercedes-Benz, which he used for transportation around New York City. The car was modified to provide additional privacy and security, essential for someone of his fame level. He also owned a Range Rover for trips to the countryside and family outings, prioritizing comfort and reliability over flashiness. During his time in Los Angeles in the 1970s, Bowie owned several American muscle cars, including a classic Chevrolet Corvette. This was during his cocaine-fueled, thin white Duke period, and the powerful sports car matched the intensity and excess of that era. In Switzerland, Bowie kept a collection of European luxury cars suited to alpine driving conditions. These included a BMW sedan for winter driving and an Audi convertible for summer tours through the Swiss countryside. His car choices reflected his practical nature. While he could afford any vehicle, he chose cars that served specific purposes rather than simply displaying wealth. Unlike many celebrities who collect cars as status symbols, Bowie viewed his vehicles as tools for privacy and transportation. He often drove himself rather than using chauffeurs, valuing the independence and normalcy that driving provided. The art of living, lifestyle, and interests. Beyond his musical career, Bowie was a passionate art collector with impeccable taste. His collection included works by some of the most important artists of the 20th century, reflecting both his aesthetic sensibilities and his investment acumen. The collection, valued at over $41 million at the time of his death, included pieces by Jean-Michel Basquiat, Damien Hirst, Frank Auerbach, and Peter Halley. Bowie's interest in art wasn't merely financial. He was genuinely passionate about contemporary art and often incorporated artistic concepts into his music and performances. He served on the editorial board of the contemporary art magazine, Modern Painters, and was known to spend hours in galleries and museums around the world. His lifestyle in later years was notably refined and cultured. He and Iman were fixtures on the New York social scene, attending gallery openings, theater premieres, and fashion shows. However, they also valued privacy and spent considerable time at home, where Bowie continued to create music and Iman pursued her cosmetics business. Bowie was also a voracious reader with an extensive library covering philosophy, literature, and art history. He often spoke about how reading influenced his songwriting, and his later albums showed the influence of his intellectual pursuits. The ultimate revelation. Now, here's a shocking truth I promised you at the beginning. While many celebrities flaunt their wealth, Bowie's most valuable asset wasn't his cars, houses, or even his art collection. It was his foresight. He predicted the digital revolution would destroy traditional music industry profits, which is why he created those Bowie bonds in 1997. By 2004, as digital downloads exploded, Moody's downgraded the bonds to one level above junk status. Bowie had essentially gotten out at the perfect time, securing $55 million just before the industry collapsed. That's the mark of a true visionary. Someone who doesn't just create the future through art, but predicts it through business. Conclusion. David Bowie's luxury lifestyle was the perfect reflection of the man himself. Sophisticated, innovative, and always ahead of its time. From his groundbreaking financial innovations to his exquisite taste in art and real estate, Bowie demonstrated that true wealth isn't just about having money, but about using it wisely and living authentically. His $230 million fortune, stunning properties, and carefully curated collections weren't just displays of wealth. They were extensions of his artistic vision. Even in death, Bowie continued to innovate, with his estate carefully managing his legacy and continuing to generate substantial income through strategic partnerships and releases. The Starman may have returned to the stars, but his influence on music, fashion, art, and even finance continues to resonate. His life proves that with talent, vision, and smart business decisions, an artist can build not just a career, but a lasting empire. Don't forget to subscribe to AdeMedia Official for more incredible stories about your favorite celebrities' luxury lifestyles. Smash that like button if you enjoyed learning about David Bowie's amazing journey from Brixton to superstardom. and share this video with your friends who love music history. Comment down below and let us know which celebrity's luxury lifestyle you'd like us to explore next. We read every single comment and love hearing from you. Until next time, keep reaching for the stars.